So now we stay in Hong Kong, where I am now, and we're going to meet Josh, our next podcast guest. He's a successful young professional living and working in Hong Kong with study previously in England. And he is having very interesting views on everything we discuss, humanity values, and very interesting take on AI. And he's going to give us also his own personal challenge on that matter. So let's go and see Josh in Hong Kong. Let's go. Welcome to Meet the Human podcast. And today, I'm so happy. Today I'm in Hong Kong with Josh from Hong Kong. And this is my first person from Hong Kong in the podcast. So thank you, Josh, for being here today. And today we're going to discover the human behind Josh. So just tell us, Josh, who you are. People behind the camera, probably many don't even know you at all. So please just allow us to understand who you are, where you come from, a bit of your origins, and a little bit of your progression in life, please.
So thanks again, Louis. So hello everyone. I'm Josh. So I'm born and raised in Hong Kong, and I've moved to the UK for secondary school. Been there for boarding schools and university. And I would say that's the first ever, one of the biggest moves that I've made for my life, my first move. I studied biology over there. And funny enough, I didn't do anything related to biology afterwards. So I used to dream to become a professor until I realized that lab work wasn't quite for me. So the second move that I took, I pivoted. And I was actually thinking what I really want to do back then. So one thing that I didn't tell Louis, which is I actually spent 2 months in Thailand for volunteering teaching, where I immersed myself in the Thai culture. And
how long ago was that?
It was, I would say 2016, so it is 10 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, I spent close to 3 months there, 2.5, 3 months over there, not in Bangkok, not in Pattaya, not in Chiang Mai, just somewhere in the rural. So that's where I picked up a little bit of Thai. And afterwards, I moved back to Hong Kong, had a career in business, mainly in sales and business development and marketing, pivot across different industry, and currently I'm in a tech firm to do sales and business development. Yeah.
Biology. So why biology? If you remember, do you remember?
Of course, I remember. I have to write my own personal statement back then. And
okay.
Yeah. So I say I wasn't quite decisive back then, because back in the days in Hong Kong, I studied most of my electives were history, geography. Yeah, a little bit about the social science related subjects. Mm-hmm. But afterwards, I moved to the UK. I actually thought, okay, I have a bigger interest in biology, and the main reason, if I have to record, is in Hong Kong, the education system was quite pushy. They tend to, it's quite textbook based, but in the UK, it's quite they will give you a lot of field work, so it's more immersive. So I guess that's one of the reasons why I found my passion in sciences, biology and chemistry mostly, and that's where I continued. And I actually wrote in my personal statement saying that when I was small, I watched the BBC Ocean, and that's where I was one of my aha moments. Though that was mainly for university, but that's I believe is the UK educational environment that helped me find my passion.
And what and then your Thailand experience was after that?
The Thailand experience was actually it was done through Isaac, so it was I completely don't know what I want to do after I graduate. So I thought, okay, perhaps. Because in the UK, there will be a graduation ceremony, right? So there's kind of like a gap in between. So I need something to do. But and because I need to attend the ceremony, right, I couldn't just go full-time directly. So I just taught in Thailand, and afterwards, after the graduation, I just did my job hunt, and just somehow I end up in an education consultant as my first job.
Mm-hmm. And that first job was here in Hong Kong?
Yes, in Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm. And then you changed to the second job.
Yes.
Just give us the driver.
Yeah, I would say little bit background context is I believe my current job is my sixth job. Until my recent job, I used to be quite jumpy. So I job hoop every, I would say 1 year and 1.5 years. And if I have to trace back a couple of reasons, obviously the first thing is because I was when I first graduated, I thought, oh, I want to try different stuff. I'm curious about different industries. So I've been education consultant, obviously is education, right? So my second job is also actually education. It was a job that I actually utilized my Thai skill. I helped overseas internship company to break through into the Thai market. And one of the reasons why I was hired, my boss told me was because I know Thai. She actually said my interview performance was average only. I wasn't the best candidate, but just somehow I had that language skill and I was hired. And for the first day of work, I was told, you need to help me to speak with the local over there. You need to form partnership with the companies with Thai companies. And 3 months later, I just need to flew to Thailand and just secure different partnerships. Yeah.
So that was successful.
Yes.
Very interesting. Very interesting journey.
Yeah, and I would say afterwards, I went to a little bit HR related. I was doing recruitment, marketing, employer branding for a Japanese company called Wantedly. So it's one of the major job boards in Japan for tech and Gen Z type of talents. Afterwards, I went back to education and till now, and now I'm with a tech company.
So, with so much varied experience, and have you found your sweet spot?
Yeah, I believe so. This is one of the questions that constantly in my mind in the first couple years of my career is I constantly ask the question of what am I really good at? Yeah, because you will only thrive in an environment if you're good at doing something and you enjoy doing it, right? Because you are passionate, right? I would say the first. So I constantly, when I look for the next step, right? I constantly have a question for myself. Let's say, for my first job as an education consultant, the reason why I didn't go for a research career because I used to want to become a professor in a uni, right? But I also realized that if you want to become a professor, you first have to be really good at research. Research as in both lab work, storytelling the data, and also write good literature reviews that needs to fit certain standards, right? So my first question to myself is, what I'm really good at is able to mingle and build relationship from people from different countries. This is something that I realized from my university life. So I was thinking, okay, so which kind of job that I would be able to utilize that skill. So it just happened this job that just came to me, and also probably the first second offer just came through. And then I was thinking, oh, I have nothing to lose. I was relatively young back then, so I just decided to challenge myself back then, and it turned out okay actually. I was there for 1.5 years, and mainly what I do is I mingle with different school principals from the UK. I advise students from a similar background as I do and help them to plan which schools should they go and bridge them to universities. So it was actually quite a sweet spot somehow because I was using my experience to guide others, right?
And maybe just to go back to the very first sort of super move when you do you remember, okay, apart from biology, but moving so far away, and I understand perhaps Hong Kong also is UK culture as well as China and UK mixed.
Yeah.
But anyway, you did decided to move away so far.
Yes.
That was it. That your decision entirely. Your decision. How did it happen?
I actually initiated myself.
What was the motive?
I would say a funny story behind this. My parents actually urged me to go when I finished my primary school, but I didn't want to. And 3 years
Your
later,
parents Hong Kong Chinese?
yes.
But yes. They felt, oh, you must go to UK.
Yeah, they just have a perception being that, oh, they want me to practice my English well. They want me to immerse with the Western culture. They believe this is this will be a competitive edge in the future. But back then, obviously, I won't know that many contexts behind, right?
Yeah.
I just personally feel quite against at the beginning because firstly they told me to do, right, and I have to follow, right. I have no rights to kind of I feel like I can't say no. But back then it's just somehow I don't feel it's the right time, and I was too small, and I just want to be with my parents. So I stuck in Hong Kong for 3 more years, and I believe there's some push and pull factor. The push factor is, Louis, I'm the first cohort of the Hong Kong DSE public exam. So for everyone who might not be familiar with the Hong Kong education system, so HKDSE is the new version of the HKA level, HKCEE. So I was the first cohort. So what does that mean is there's no past track record of what will be examined, what is the benchmark, how difficult to enter the university. So this is one of the push factors. But one thing that I record was after 3 years of secondary school education in Hong Kong, I still wasn't quite able to find my own positioning of myself. Yeah, because I record. I also mentioned that I was actually a social science guy in Hong Kong, right? Yeah, my grades were still okay, but I'm never the top, so I was quite miserable of whether I would be able to go to university or whatsoever. So I just decided, okay, perhaps changing the environment and challenge myself perhaps is a good move. So yeah, after kind of some preparation process, yeah, I just went directly to the UK.
Okay, so in a way, your parents put the idea in your brain, and and you resisted a little, but then that idea stayed, and then you just embraced the idea and went for it, and it was successful, right?
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of some key learning from being exposed to different culture.
Yeah, I guess in terms of culture-wise, one key point that I want to mention, but let me give a little bit of context. One of the most common that I hear from the students' parents back then, they will ask me is, Josh, do you get bullied in the UK? They always ask me that.
They ask you here?
Yeah, yes. Because I need to advise the student which is the right school to go to, right? So they will ask you, bullying is the common culture in the UK. I'm not trying to be stereotype or whatsoever, but this is the top question that they ask me. But my question is, my usual answer is that depends on how you define it, to be very honest. Because the reason why I say it is, obviously if you go to a new country, you have to immerse yourself into others' culture. You can't put what you originally behave and think that's right and that's applicable to other country too. So the first thing is you got to observe. Very important, you got to observe. And especially when my boarding school back then is not in a big city, it's in a small town. So what does that mean is, in London, people usually are more international, they are more receptive to foreign cultures. people are generally more they're exposed to different ideas, that kind of stuff, so they're more open-minded. But back then I was in a small town, and majority of them were British which lived nearby, so perhaps they haven't been to bigger cities, they haven't interacted with foreigners, so they're usually quite curious. Oh, an Asian coming to a UK small town, what is he doing here? So usually they will try to interact with you. I would use the word interact in different ways. But sometimes if they go towards a certain extent, I'm not saying that is right, but obviously my message is you got to understand what is why these people behave in certain way. Perhaps some of them is just curious. Perhaps some of you want to make friends with you, but you got to know their intention and be adaptive in a way. And also my biggest take is back then was don't take every of the complaint just directly to teacher. I'm not saying that you shouldn't bring to the principal, but because someone something.
Don't overload the teacher with your problems.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's my biggest take, because if not, others will think you can't solve the problem yourself. Yeah, so I would just tell them that would determine how you define bullying in what extent, because the spectrum will be very wide. Yeah.
So you have a nice memories of your time. 3 years, I guess. 4 years.
4 years.
4 years. 4 years, and always in that small town.
Yes.
So not even London. This is very interesting, because I thought it was London what you were talking about, and of course in London you're exposed to another culture, but it's international.
Yeah.
But it's different than Asia. But then you went even more extreme, because then you go into for those who maybe don't know, I lived in England 8 years, and I love London, but London is not England. London is London.
London is
London, which is a fantastic city. But then England is more. You see more the roots and the culture. So you were exposed to that.
Yes.
In England. So you're lucky. You have been exposed already at your young age to this variety of cultures. Does it help you to give me you will have your own definition of what humanity is. You want to give it a go?
Sure. So actually my definition of humanity is what will be because what drives human compared to other, I would say, animals. The differences is we hold certain values in common. So for humans, we have emotions like compassionate, and also we are sympathetic to others, and I would say also there are some sub behaviors that only human holds. Like I will pinpoint my favorite ones is grit and resilience. And the reason why I mentioned about grit and resilience is this is the top words that I hear from my bosses, saying that, Josh, you have to hold grit and resilience in order to be successful in your career. Not just once, but multiple bosses.
Grit.
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 Grit and resilience.
Grit and resilience.
Yes. And but when I recall back, where did I inherit these habits? Probably my first, I would say, it actually came from boarding school, to be very honest. And the reason behind was it was in a small town. There's no entertainment. You just got and they set very fixed schedule with you. So for instance, usually for in boarding school for Wednesdays you have half day of school. Afternoon you need to go to sports. Even though you're not good at rugby, you need to play rugby or hockey or cricket or whatsoever. You have no choice. You need to represent your school. You need to go compete with other schools as well, with no choice. You've gotta hustle. And at night you have 2 study breaks. I mean, you gotta study. People will actually have an eye on you. Your housemasters will monitor you, and day in day out for the whole year. So I've been in that rhythm for 4 years, so that's where you are quite used to being following the rules, and kind of that's where I believe I just got a habit, and gradually it turned into grit and resilience. You constantly do the same thing over and over again and be target and focused.
I see. Can I give you a challenge?
Sure.
You are talking about behaviors, emotions, then you talk about values. Are they not three different things?
Actually, I would say is values is the principles that you hold when you decide do or not do something. Yeah. For instance, let me give an example. Is for myself, one of my biggest value is to be authentic and to be transparent. I don't like to hide things. So I would just tell my clients or other people saying that, okay, if you make this decision, this will be this, and this will be the cons. So, and let them decide it. I don't like to hide things. But behavior is something that because if you hold certain values, right, there will be a higher tendency that will influence you to do certain behavior, but it's not definite, because behavior is even perhaps me and somebody holds the same value, but under a certain context, could be society influence or whatsoever, just because of the context, people will behave a different way. So I would say they are linked, but it's not, the correlation is not definite.
So good, you're clear about what your values are. Now you just mentioned authenticity, transparency. Can you remember, or do you think you got some values from your family, from your parents? Do you think that gave you some other values, or maybe these ones are coming from them more than from you? What do you think?
I think certainly. Actually, my parents, they do very different jobs. One of them actually was they work in the disciplinary force. So they work in the immigration. So they work in shift. My father worked in the disciplinary force, and he attend different shift. So that's where I believe he used a similar way to manage me when I'm small. So what does that mean is he is quite strict at my behavior. So at home especially. So I couldn't be messy. I have to be organized as in if I did certain thing, I just need to put it back and up to his standard. If not, I will be scolded. While my mom works in private, so it's a little bit more chill and relaxed in a way. But both they constantly remind me is Josh, you can't tell lies. You have to treat everyone respectfully. So I guess they told me at a very, very young age, probably 5 or 6 maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, certainly, definitely huge influence from the family.
But when you tell to yourself, and you just told us just before, sort of your top list, then you come up with your own one, your own list of values. You come with your authenticity, transparency. And any other value you would say that is core in you?
Probably no matter. Also one thing is definitely I'm not sure whether that falls under the values category, but I treat everyone with respect, because in a way that one thing that I strongly believe, I'm not a Buddhist, but I believe in karma in a way. Yeah, so what you do will gradually influence what kind of, it's kind of a loop, to be very honest. And the reason why I said that is in my past 8 or 9 years of career, close to 10, maybe 8 or 9 years, I made many different decisions. Decisions in a way that is not just about my daily work, but because I also do external kind of career workshops with students in the university. I participate in different hackathons. I met different people, and I wasn't aware that when I make these decisions, it's just happened in a case that people just came back to me. Oh, I saw you did XXX event back then, and because I knew you back in that occasion, so that's why I just like planting in a seed in that person, and somehow it because I helped those students before, and now they came back to me, and helping me back. When I searched for interns for companies back then, they referred me with candidates. So it's just multiple incidents kind of thing happened that my previous work have helped me in the future. So that's why I believe holding a respect to whoever you encounter is also very important.
So you believe in karma is based on observation of your own experience over the last 8 or 9 years?
Yes. Yeah, and I wasn't aware at the very beginning too. I was just thinking, at first it was quite simple. Again, I was quite miserable and lost with my career at the beginning. At the beginning, I was quite miserable.
You said miserable now 3 times in this podcast.
Yeah, but afterwards I turned this. I try not to repeat this word again, but I turned this into helping and empowering more students who are in the same situation as myself. So this is also a very strong the reason why I constantly invest on other students at a younger age. So that's why I tell you I go to universities and I deliver all these talks. I just want to empower them to be able to use my experience to guide them to find their own path.
I was going to ask you, okay, maybe you just started. If you can give us an example of when you have caught yourself being high human, exercising your values for a positive impact. If you have any story.
Yeah, actually, this is something that because one of the latest story was I've been doing this kind of career related work for a couple of years already, and usually it's
But you do this on the side. I mean, it's not just your day-to-day job.
It's not my day-to-day job. It's some of my quick context was I completed my master's during my COVID period, a part-time master's in one of the Hong Kong universities, and I kept a good relationship with the professors that taught me. So they will indirectly invite me back to the uni to deliver sharings to students, and it's just happened that one of my kind of biggest edge, they think of me as career-related advice somehow. So quick story was there was one lady who was in a year three bachelor student of marketing. Obviously, when I look at her, she was introduced by the professor that taught both of us, and the professor found me saying that, Josh, this lady, so my junior in the university, she's impressive, but she wants to gets into one of the most competitive management trainee job. What could she do? Then I would say, okay, sure, we could have a chat, coffee, whatsoever, and I could meet her and potentially guide her. And obviously, I would say the first impression I had on her is she's brighter than I do when I was in university. Good CV, 3 internships already, back to back, and but she still find it quite competitive because she wasn't quite sure what she has to do. in order to stand out from all the other competitors as in other applicants that apply to the same scheme. So without mentioning the name or the job or whatsoever, from the statistic that I know, probably that management trainee scheme only take 30 applicants per cohort, but the people who apply probably thousands. So I just helped her. I show her some. I told her you have to look through LinkedIn of what past applicants that this company will hire. What is the common theme, and you have to highlight your own traits, kind of that match that position. Because why? Because if you did the research, you will know, you will observe the pattern and the trend and the tendency. You know your customer, so that will help you to shape you better during the interview. And at the end, fast forward, she got the job. She did it. She was really happy, and even fast forward, when I went back to university, I just happened to have got an award from the university. She was the person who actually recommended me during the process, because well, for all those kind of university award things, they have to drop down what I did, what kind of achievements and kind of I did for the university, and she highly recommended me. But obviously I didn't know behind the scene, because I won't know all the processes, right? But just from a result point of view, that helped me to get further exposure for somehow, without me intended to do it. That was behind the scene.
Nice. Two happy people then, in this case.
Yeah.
Very nice. So so we now more or less discussed your very interesting life, very interesting origins, your top values, your idea of humanity. You're exposed to many cultures. Also, you have a relatively young age. So now we are going to go into the second part of the podcast, and then we're going to start understanding what is your take about AI. Because as I always tell in the podcast, AI is on us. It's something that we live with and is here to stay. I'm very curious to know, a person like you, Hong Kong, with your experience, with your professional, I think, background right now, you will have very interesting perception of what is AI for you in the context of we are humans and AI is part of our life. How do you see this working?
I would say the complexity of AI, as in first thing first is what I observe is nowadays everyone just talk about AI. But what I also realize is many people just when they mention AI, they think it as, oh, if you have a problem, just run AI. It will help you. It will just help you solve the problem. It's mainly just go to the extent it's a problem solver. But my take on it is a little bit further in depth in a way that AI is something that helps you to automate repetitive stuff. It helps you become more operational efficient. It helps you to save time for you to focus your time to do more strategic work, in short. But in order to utilize AI, right, and even for artificial intelligence, there is different layers. Without going into very technical jargon, my take is you first have to understand what are the types of AI out there. The reason behind this, AI should be purposely built. For instance, under different there are different models, they serve different purpose. You can't expect kind of AI to be good at everything. They have different accuracy. First take. Second thing is you got to understand the differences between different AI to have that knowledge so that you could determine on which circumstances and timing you should be utilizing AI without over relying on it. Because if you purely rely on artificial intelligence or this newest technology, my question is, when the technology gradually evolves, people often are afraid of, oh, AI will replace my job. But my question to them is, yeah, of course, because when they help you improve the efficiency, you haven't used that time to invest yourself to become more strategic and improve yourself to do more strategic work. So that's why you are afraid to get replaced. But if you are already doing job that AI can't automate, why would you afraid for it? It is helping you to save time to help to improve yourself. So yeah, that's probably my biggest take, is to utilize AI at the right timing and know which AI to utilize on. Yeah.
Can you describe your current exposure to AI? Because I do believe you do. I think for what you do, you're exposed already to it. Can you just describe your own experience with it?
Yes. So currently, my day-to-day job involves a lot of kind of business development, doing outreaches, meeting with client. Obviously, after the meeting with the client, we have to summarize the insights findings, right? And there's a lot of repetitive work in it. So my current take is, at the moment, I utilize a couple models, like those models everyone that knows about: ChatGPT, Cloudy, also Perplexity, those kind of thing. What I do is, because within my company there is like a closed kind of AI playground, which they determine on different contexts, they will use different model, but I won't go into depth. But what we currently do is we are able to turn our repetitive work, like generating like a unique email, kind of summarizing the video conferences into insights, so kind of video to text, transcript and summarization, then tag back to email follow-ups. Also kind of tweaking the way that you respond to client. So because I'm not sure whether Louis, you know about, do you guys have you used Lookbook LLM before? The Google Gem, yeah?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. So I also use that to kind of tweak my own agent and ask them, okay, if I'm going to reply that, what would be the suggestion? Kind of using a little bit of Notebook LLM as well to become like my personal assistant to kind of to respond to clients more rapidly and more to the point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in your personal life, would you spot some? You may not be aware that you are already exposed to AI. Are you?
I guess on my personal level, I guess mainly is when I attend to conferences. Usually, as I mentioned, because I go to many different events, right? And sometimes it's just happened that I was in the context of, okay, I actually have a group of people that I work with, but not everyone will be in the event. It's just record down what is the key findings, sharing to them, and kind of organize meetings more efficiently. Those kind of relatively more simple use cases. But one thing that I realized it was because Hong Kong usually is trilingual, right? So for English content, obviously the generic models are pretty useful.
And for the non-Hong Kong audience, please tell us what those three languages are, just for people to know.
Sure. So the languages is Cantonese, Mandarin, and English.
Like everybody, Hong Kong Chinese will have those three. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So and I realized some of the models that I mentioned weren't work quite well on Cantonese and Mandarin.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yes. Well, I guess because of the origins of the technology.
So, yes. So it's just happened that I have to use kind of different models according to different occasion. If not, it will be the accuracy will be very low.
And do you have any view on, okay, maybe it sounds a bit boring, but the governance of AI? Do you have can you conceptualize that? And is something that bothers you or occupies any space in your time? Is it important for you?
I guess for Hong Kong itself, it's a little bit tricky. I will just kind of tell my own experience because certainly for governance of AI, it's definitely related to data security and kind of privacy, right? But from because my current role always deals with a lot of data, what I currently notice is obviously for every single country, location, nation, city, whatever, people will prefer to store their data at their own place, ideally. So have a data center at your own place. But realistically, because for majority of the tech firms, they will utilize data center externally, like Amazon, all those kind of tech giants data center, right? Realistically, it's not that feasible to have data centers everywhere due to geographic restriction, due to cost restriction, due to a strategic kind of investment, that type of thing. So my take of data governance is still at a personal level. Do be sensible of what data that you put into that type of model, because you will never know what data is being used to being trained, whether it's anonymized, whether there's enough data security to provide your own privacy on a personal level. But for a kind of like country or nation or city level, although it's a little bit out of my personal control, but I still believe like data should be stored in your own country, your own nation, which makes a lot of sense. But to be very honest, a lot of Hong Kong companies that I interact with, what they do is they will, besides the PII, personal identity info, for the less kind of restricted ones, they might not be stored in Hong Kong, to be very frankly speaking. Yeah.
And thank you. And then if you think about AI being so much part of our life, do you have a view on whether AI will ever share some behavior with humans or will become humanized in a way? Do you think that's possible? Is it something are you comfortable with? What is your take on that?
My take on it is for AI is again is back to the point of what kind of data you input, you put to train the model, right? So again, back to the point, garbage in, obviously garbage out. So my take is as we utilize AI more extensively, ultimately it will be coming some sort of like behavior that they behave will be kind of more humanized, determined on the volume of data you put in. I believe it will help. It will be happening soon, to be very honest, because in the tech world there's a saying that what you learn about AI today will be completely different 2 to 3 months later, because AI just helped you. The learning curve, maybe in the past it's like that, now it's like that.
Yeah, it will go. Right? Yeah, it reaches exponential level quickly.
Yeah, but one thing that I'm slightly not sure about is about, back to the point, the humanity, the human values, that type of thing. Whether it could be like whether data and algorithm are complex enough to mimic a certain humankind directly. This is something that I'm not sure of, because even for different humans who share similar values, everyone, because of education, because of family, because of like country, society, everyone is different. So this is one thing that I am unsure about, whether AI and algorithm is complex enough to be able to mimic so many different possibilities. This is something I'm not sure about.
Interesting, but it's something. Okay, it's interesting. We need to watch, but every 2 or 3 months, everything changes. So we need to keep an eye, be alert. Let me ask you the question that the previous guest asked. I think this may be the right time. So the previous guest, the last guest in our podcast, asked how to balance humanity and AI. The question is how to balance, implying that perhaps there is a need to have the balance. Maybe you can also tell us, well, is there a need for you, and in that case, how to balance humanity and AI? And the context was on the discussion about the imperative of AI in our lives, and the previous podcast person is a mom with children, so she can see this at a very young age. So she can see this. She cannot decouple the children from the technology and the technology from the children. So how to balance humanity and AI? What would you say?
I think just speaking, not to speaking from her, but just based on the context is, I think one thing that sparks into my mind is from a family perspective, because if I imagine in the future I also have a children or child or whatsoever, is because children, whether they will utilize certain tech will be, because usually children, their behavior will be first kind of guided by the parents as well, right? It's mainly very family influential that. So obviously what I will tell them is do be sensible of what technology will help you. Don't rely completely on technology in a way that, because over reliance will just lead to a certain behavior that could be you just rely on technology to do everything for you, but it doesn't help your own development in a way. So by knowing on context that which when you should be using AI, where you should be using AI, do know where the limits are, so that you could make the right decision on whether you use this technology or not, whether it's the right moment to use this technology is my take. Yeah, you have to make informed decision, but this could be guided by, firstly, when you are in the childhood, what your family told you, and secondly, whether you have accumulated enough experiences and exposure in order to make this decision right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very. I don't have children, so I don't think about this. But because of this podcast and my guests, sometimes I started to think about education, the future of education, and what subjects we should be educating the next generations about, knowing that AI is going to take it's going to do certain things that we are learning when we were young, that actually we can still learn, but we're never going to use. We may never put into practice, because actually AI will do it for us. And I just brainstorming by myself.
Louis, can I ask you a question?
Okay, this is not normally the case in the podcast, but okay, go.
Yeah, Louis, I recently read something very interesting. There's a saying that in the future, there might not be a need for people to learn to attend universities, because people could learn everywhere, could learn from YouTube, could learn from Coursera, whatsoever. What do you think?
Well, thank you. I will have a very quick view of this. I believe we have to distinguish knowledge acquisition and then social skills, humanity-based acquisition. A center where humans can understand what it is about living in as a part of a society are required. You can call them universities, you can call them whatever people decide to call them in the future, but that part of knowledge, the knowledge of the learning of how to live as part of a society, part of a human society, is something that needs to be taught as well. So not as centers of knowledge, but centers of how to teach human behavior, social behaviors to humans. That should exist.
Yeah.
And my understanding of, just to link with the previous question, it is possible also in my brain that the curriculum on the universities should start putting more emphasis on the humanities, the creativity and social part of our life, and a bit less on other subjects that children are going to get through technology. It's a best use of time, in my opinion. So maybe, okay, this is maybe, and this wasn't prepared. I had no idea he was going to ask me any question whatsoever, not this one. So thank you, Josh, for challenging me. You need to give me now a question that I will ask my next guest, please.
I can use the same one, right? I didn't think I knew.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, we can ask that question.
I want to ask the same question because just one last take regarding on that is someone just asked me this question, like I would say 2.5 months ago. They say why they tweak the question a little bit. They say why university exists. They asked me, they just challenged me saying that, oh, you see Mark Zuckerberg, you see many people are university dropouts, so they're trying to say that going to university is not the only path to make you succeed, which completely agree, because many different different paths.
Not everybody goes through university in life, yes.
Yeah, but one thing that I also strikes me is university is kind of like it's like a standard. I mean standard in let me rephrase it in a way that it provides a credit way to kind of examine, which is fair to everyone, to examine whether you are capable of doing something. So it's kind of like a standard as in like so because there's no like a universal standard that for employers to examine students, right? So university become that medium that gives the confidence for employers to know whether the students are able to do their job. So this is something that I believe university is playing the role. So unless there's some changes or tweak on regarding there's a better way to examine a person's ability to be able to do certain tasks. If not, in a short term, I believe university will still be will has its place. It's my personal take.
Good, fantastic. Thank you so much, Josh. You got my brain thinking. I'm thinking many more things now, but it's not for this podcast. Maybe for our next coffee conversation. So okay. So this is the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for your kindness, for joining this adventure. Do you have any closing remarks to offer, if anything, or?
I guess it's one last take is for everyone, for the audiences is my personal take is when the opportunity comes, just go grab it and go try it, because there's no experience called failure, because it will turn into a learning eventually.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you very much. So on that note, this is the end of our Meet the Human episode number 12, I believe, with Josh from Hong Kong. So thank you, Josh. Thank you, and goodbye, everyone. See you on the next episode. Goodbye.
Thanks for having me, Louis.
How was that?
I think it was good. It actually helped me think a lot. And actually, as you mentioned, when we speak, my brain actually
is working.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. I was quite worried at the beginning. Oh, Saturday afternoon, would there be food coma? Would my brain not working? Would that be like lagging in between, kind of dragging the pace?
Do you still You still have some abalone in your fish farm, or
Yeah.
you're still there?
Yes. I lost one cage.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
dropped
yeah.
to the sea.
With the typhoon?
Yes.
Oh.
Because it's stored in a like a box, right?
Oh.
So the strings got loosened up and it falls into the sea. I tied
And then gone, right?
4 or 5 rounds, you know. I tied the lid for 4 or 5 rounds and it still loosened up and dropped to the sea.
Yeah, Josh, this was typhoon signal 10 plus. Oh yeah. Anyway, you did a good job protecting all the fish. Yeah.
Yes.
-1.
And now the fish farm, some of the parts got ripped off, like a piece of paper. It got ripped off. It got floated to the pier. It got floated to the beach. So, I'm fortunate enough. The piece where I raise my fish is not the part got tear off.
Oh.
Because literally I described the pier is maybe that long. My fish is here, and for this part got tear off and just float to the beach.
Oh, so you're the lucky one.
Yeah, I'm lucky one.
Of course, Josh. You're always lucky.
Lucky in a way is you like, yeah, I did do some praying, but I always say as long as I did my preparation, it's out of control. So let it be. Can't overthink.
Wonderful. Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much.